Hi everyone, welcome to the session. So this is going to be a very quick session. I'm going to give you the strategy that you can follow for the next few days. Of course, we have only 4 days to MICAT 2. I hope you have seen the MICAT 1 live analysis that we had done. In case you haven't, please have a look at it. It's also there in IMS dashboard for those of you who are IMS students. But if not, then you can always watch it on YouTube. Search for MICAT 1 analysis. We'll also leave a link in the description so that once the session is done, you can always check it out from there as well. But in that video, we have covered everything that happened in MICAT 1. It will help you to strategize for MICAT 2 in a better manner. Now, in this session, I'm going to focus on a few key things because when we looked at the scorecards of the students and when we got feedback from them, we realized that a lot of students this time, and in fact, this is the first year where I've seen a lot of people not qualifying in the psychometric test. The reason for that, of course, I'll cover as to why that can happen and how to avoid that. And then the precaution that you need to take when it comes to the descriptive writing section that is there. And for the aptitude part of it, what has been the trend, what are the numbers looking like when it comes to IMS students, and how you can plan your attempt better. So let's start. I can also see that there are quite a few of you who have joined the YouTube live session. So great, thanks everyone for joining. And if you have any questions, let me know. So starting first of all with the format, right? And I'm sure all of you by now know the format, so I'm not going to spend too much time on the format itself. But when the first MICAT happened, right, the MICAT 1 which was conducted in December 24, after the test, these were the numbers that we thought were good attempts in the section. So we thought divergent convergent thinking, it looked okay that somebody 10, 12 is a very good attempt. You can possibly do somewhere around that as the number of attempts, and assuming 80 to 90% accuracy, that's a reasonably good attempt to have. When it comes to the next area that is there, which is the verbal ability, we thought 8 to 10 something is something that is looking good. The next one, which is the the quant area, I would not call it section because all of these are part of one singular section, which is section C, where you can jump from one question to another and one area to another. And we felt that 7 to 8 questions is what one could have done. And for GK, we felt 5 to 6 is something that is looking good. When we looked at the results, however, it appears that even these numbers are on the higher side. So I would say that if you reduce, let's say 1 to 2 from each of these numbers that we have given, that also is a reasonably good attempt, considering the difficulty of MICAT 1. Now we don't know how MICAT 2 will appear, but looking at the past year, even when you look at the last year's MICAT paper, it appears that the test overall has become difficult. It's a low scoring affair, and I'll show you my scorecard also. I'll show you the some of the trends that we have from, or the data that we have from our students, and that will help you to understand that in fact it is a low scoring test. So you don't have to do very well in terms of the actual score, but you have to be very strategic about your attempts so that you reach to a certain reasonable attempt and score. So starting from the psychometric test, as I said, this is 1 year where I've seen in all the years that have been with IMS, I haven't really come across a year where I've interacted with multiple people saying that I could not qualify in the psychometric test. Now, why that happens is, let's say if you're not able to complete the psychometric test, right? So in a lot of cases, if you're not able to complete it, that is the primary reason why you will get a not qualified as the result. So when it comes to psychometric, you have 30 minutes, you have 150 questions. There's no correct, there's nothing right or wrong about it. These are all behavioral questions. Most of them are on 8-point scale. So totally disagree, strongly disagree, and so on and so forth to totally agree. You have to be very quick while answering these questions. You cannot spend a lot of time. So be completely honest. So that is going to be the objective that I would say is finish it fast as possible. And the tip that I have is to be extremely honest in your responses, because that's the second reason, right, why people get not qualified in this is purely because they try to answer in certain manner, and that affects they see, all psychometric tests have an internal mechanism to check the consistency in responses. So if it happens that, let's say, for some questions you are appearing as if you are an introvert, and for some question you are appearing as if you are an extrovert, that is going to create conflict in the way you are responding to questions. So the best way to handle psychometric is to be extremely honest, go very fast, and finish it off. Do not overthink in this particular area. That's the only thing that I would suggest. So otherwise, it's the simplest part of the test. I know it may be a bit difficult for some people to just go through one question after the other very, very fast, but you have to complete it. Okay, so that's one tip that I would suggest. Be honest and go fast. Okay. Moving to the descriptive test section. So these were the topics from MICAT 1. MICAT 2, of course, will have different topics. You have to be mentally prepared for anything that can come your way. The descriptive test has 4 parts to it. The total duration is 25 minutes. You have the first 3 questions are connected by a theme. The theme for MICAT 1 was there is merit in hierarchy, and the first question says present an argument with 3 points supporting the topic, that has 10 marks. Then opposing the topic, that has 10 marks, and 3 ways in which young managers can promote hierarchy in their organization to make it more efficient, that is 20 marks. So 10, 10 and 20. And then you have the picture story writing, which is 30 marks. So the 4 pictures which were given, again, they can be extremely random pictures. You have to come up with a story at that point of time. In MICAT 1, these were the pictures which were given. So there was a picture of a luggage, a bag, a trolley bag, a roadside market, then insect on food, and there was a camel, right? So that the camel was, I think, some metallic camel or something like that. Anyway, that's immaterial. The thing is, you have to come up with a story. So you cannot really think for a very long period of time, right? So to answer these 4 questions, you have to type out the answers using the keyboard. You have to be very, very fast. So the next 4 days, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to practice writing using the keyboard. So take any random topic and then try to write for 25 minutes at a stretch, right? You can take multiple topics, you can write on anything. I would say keyboard practice of 25 minutes every day is going to be very, very important, because a lot of students, they do not have that habit. So we text using our mobile phones, so we don't have habit of writing a lot on keyboard. That affects your speed. So please practice that in the next 4 days. It's going to be very, very important. Okay. I'm going to take a few questions. So there's a question regarding psychometric. I think I finished within time, tried to be honest, but still couldn't clear from last 3 times. I would say that it's important that you at least practice a few psychometric tests, right? So we had done a session for IMS students wherein we had covered a few types of psychometric tests. You can try it out. There is one on learning style. There is, for example, you have the Myers-Briggs type indicator, right? MBTI test, and there are a lot of online ones that are freely available. Just try it out, see what kind of mistakes you're making, right? Because it's not a difficult thing to crack, as long as you just be honest and give your responses as fast as possible. Okay, so I don't know what is going wrong exactly, if that has not happened with you for a long time, but just be maybe careful a little bit this time and see how things work out. When it comes to, again, descriptive, one tip that I have is write something in each of the questions, right? So don't leave a question completely, write something. So for example, let's say for this question, the first question, maybe you do not have 3 points, maybe you have only 2 points. So write 2 points first of all, right? Move to the next question, write 2 points there. So write like some minimum content for each of the questions, and then if you have time, you can always perfect it, right? So for this question where it says present an argument with 3 points, you can write bullet points, one line description of each of them, right? So at least you have 3-4 lines. And then you move to question 2, you write 3-4 lines, you move to question 3, and you write 3-4 lines, you do the story writing part in about 10 minutes. You can again come back and improve on the responses that you have given, right? So you can do that. So figure out how exactly you want to handle the whole thing. I would say 25 minutes, the best way to distribute 25 minutes would be 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes. So 5, 5, 5, 10. That should be enough for most of the students, but you can always do a plus or minus 1 or 2 here and there. Okay. All right. Moving on to the score and cutoff, right? So as I said, when we looked at MICAT 1, right, it appeared when we decided to look at the paper and we saw that, okay, fine, maybe these are the good attempts. The actual responses or the scores of the students indicate that it's a low scoring thing. So though we say good attempt in a particular section may be so many, it may not be possible for a lot of people to get there, or it may happen that in one section you are hitting that, but in the other sections you are not. So this is my scorecard, not again something to be extremely proud of, but the divergent convergent thinking, I think I did pretty okay. I got a 13 there, which is the highest. So this is how the scorecard looks in MICAT. They show you what are the marks obtained, the highest score by anybody who took the exam, and then lowest score by anybody who took the exam. So you can see that in divergent convergent thinking, the 13 score was the highest across all the takers. The lowest score was minus 3.75, which is what you don't want to have. So you don't want to have, first of all, negative score in any of the areas. You can live with one, right? So if you just do one question in a particular area, that's still fine. In verbal ability, the max was 15.25, which again is not very surprising, I would say, but then such people would have spent a lot of time on the VRC area compared to the other areas. So I don't know how it sort of happened for a person who got a 15.25, how he or she did on the other areas, because this would have taken a lot of time. My score, again, as I said, not something to be proud of. QADI has been lengthy, difficult in the last several years. There's absolutely no point spending too much time on it. Find out the easy 3, 4, 5, 6 questions that you can handle, do them, get out of it, and do something that you can handle. So if you think that maybe quant is not your forte, but you're good at VRC, you're good at divergent, focus on that. So that is going to be my advice, which is focus on your strong areas and do the bare minimum in weaker areas. See, what I am good at is these two areas, right? The divergent convergent thinking and quant. That is where I ended up spending majority of my time. If you look at the MICAT 1 analysis that I had done, I didn't even do the RC. I didn't even read it because I felt that it was not worth the effort. But somebody could have, in that position, would have said, I am going to do RC because quant is not going to be easy for me, correct? So focus on your strong areas. In GK, the max score was 7 out of 20, out of 10, and I got 5.25. Again, okay, I would say, not very bad, but could have been better, right? So my score total was 29, and I think anything above 20 is a very, very good score on the MICAT. This is the trend that we have seen from IMS students. So we have quite a few scorecards that we have received, and from that, the max that we have is 22. There will of course be a lot of IMS students also who have not submitted their scorecards. So this is only from data from students who willingly share their scorecards with us. The 90th percentile in our data is 17, and the median is 13. So when you see the median 13, you kind of know that because median is not sensitive to outliers, remove the outliers or whatever, the median is still a good indicator, which is 13. So a lot of people are not able to go beyond, I would say, 17, 18, etc. in a test like MICAT. So your aim should be to focus on the area that you are very, very good at. If you are good at divergent convergent thinking, go all out, maximize your score there, right? So if you see, I got 29 total, 50%, almost 50% of that has come from one area. And for, let's say, somebody who has got a VA 15.25, that person's, I think, I don't know, let's say, assuming somebody, that person has got, let's say, 30, even then in that case 50% is coming from one area. So if you have that strong area, you can identify, focus on that, go all out and do as many questions as possible, ensuring that you are at least doing something in the other areas. See, MICA has never released if they have any sectional cutoff, right? What is the number that they look for in each of these sub areas that are there? Though there is a theory, and we have heard a lot of people saying that you need to have a positive score, okay? So by that you mean you need to be above 0. So you should not be 0 or negative. Try to stay in the positive zone. How do you ensure that? Do at least one question of each of them correct, right? So if you do that much, you should have cleared the sectional because of that. And then you focus on improving in the stronger areas, okay? Okay, some tips now, what to focus on. So when it comes to divergent and convergent thinking, I would suggest that you do a lot of word association practice. If you take the MICAT mocks that are there for IMS students, that should suffice. But do a lot of word games, right? So there are a lot of online portals and websites where you do these fun puzzle games, etc., word challenges. You can do some of those to sort of develop your association skills. Puzzles, visual reasoning. Okay, so these two things I think you should focus on. Visual reasoning, not too much, maybe 1 or 2 questions, but yes, one area that keeps appearing. Now, when it comes to the dominant part is of course word association. So you have to get very, very good at that. When it comes to verbal ability, RC, again, it was pretty lengthy, so I decided to skip it, but most students should have attempted is what I feel. Fill in the blanks, vocab based questions and critical reasoning. So if you do, even if you do critical reasoning well, I think you can easily get about 5-6 questions in that section. But again, it's not easy, right? So the questions are still fairly moderate or difficult. Quant, I mean, data interpretation, I think, was the easiest part of it, which was more direct in nature. For the other questions, please have a look at the analysis that I had done, because I ended up discussing a few questions as well, which will help you to understand what is like the core difficulty of the questions. Considering such a high difficulty, I will not waste my time on that, right? So if I am not spending my time on it, I don't think a lot of students should be spending time on it. And as you saw, right, the maximum score in quant itself is 10.75, assuming, let's say, whatever 11 correct questions and one wrong question for this person. So even somebody who is like at the top of the game when it comes to quant section is able to attempt only 12 questions out of 20, and that to getting 11 correct and one wrong. So there's no point getting into it. Even I, who I consider myself to be reasonably good at quant, I got 5.5. I think I did maybe 7-8 questions or whatever, must have got whatever, a couple of them wrong. So that is how things are. So I'll not spend too much time. I'll focus on the things that really matter and will help me to push my overall score up. That is the whole strategy that you need to follow. And GK, you never know, right? You either you know it or you don't. There's hardly any room for taking guesses, though at a couple of places you can. But if I'm attempting very few questions, let's say you're doing only one GK question or two GK questions, let me be absolutely sure of my answers and then only venture into it, right? Because if you attempt one question and there also you're not very sure, it's not going to help you in any way. It may pull your score down. So do at least, as I said, get a positive score in each of the areas and push wherever you can, right? The one where you're comfortable. Dinesh has asked, what about punctuations in descriptive stories? It wouldn't matter a lot as long as you have a decently written story, because they are assessing more the creative writing side of things rather than the language per se or the punctuations, right? So it's fine. A couple of mistakes here and there is okay, but that's why I said that over the next 4 days, let me practice a lot of writing. Then I can write pieces. 25 minutes of writing is what I'll do every day. Whatever I write, I'm going to put it in, let's say, a chat GPT or any LLM or say Grammarly, and figure out what sort of mistakes I'm making, which will make me aware of the kind of mistakes that I do normally and then will help me to improve. Shantanu, how to structure answers in this section? So as I said, for these three, you can write bullet points, write a point, write 1 or 2 line description on it. That's it. So for question 1, 2 and 3, the length of the answer can be, for example, here you can do 3 points, 2 lines for 3 points, so 6 lines, right? 6 to 7 lines, 8 lines maybe. So 6, 7, 8 lines here, here and here, correct? So it's not going to take a lot of time. The time is going to be spent in thinking what should I be writing. So if you think in, let's say, about 1.5 minutes that this is what I'm going to write, while you're writing it, you can improvise a little bit. So I'll write a bullet point and describe it in 1 to 2 lines. That is the approach that I'll follow. Here, of course, you're writing a story, so you have to write it in paragraphs. 89 percentile in CAT, can I make it to MICA? Possible to make it RO, but depends on your MICAT score as well. So it's a combination of your MICAT and CAT score, or MICAT and XAT score. It's difficult to comment on whether one singular score will be, or if you say just I have this score, will this suffice? I don't have an answer to that question, right? So right now, if I see somebody has got, let's say, one of our students has got a 14 point something and then has a 99 plus on the CAT, almost certainly will get a call, right? Because as you saw, 14 is above the median score and 99 on the CAT itself is a very high score. But let's say somebody who has got, let's say, 22 and has got a 90 percentile on CAT, 22 in MICAT, will also get a call because it's a combination, correct? So difficult to say, but I would say for people who got a 90 plus on the CAT, you should be aiming for at least a 15 on MICAT too, which would put you in a fighting position. Okay? The more the merrier, obviously. If someone scored 99 in CAT, what should be ideal score in MICAT 2? Tortoise talks, I would say 15 plus is what you can aim for. If you've got a 99 plus in CAT, I think you are in position to score even higher, maybe a 20 plus or even a 25 plus. But it depends on the level of MICAT also. Should we attempt calculation intensive DI sets since they are mostly straightforward in nature? It depends on how the rest of the quant is. If the rest of the quant is very bad, I think it makes sense to attempt DI. I think one of the DI sets was pretty simple. The other one was, I felt that, I don't know, I should not be doing it, so I didn't. But then when I was doing the analysis, a lot of students said that in fact that was easy. So anyway, you figure it out basis the difficulty of the test. I got 85 percentile in ZAT. Is it possible to get into MICA? Shantanu, yes, maybe possible, but see, the point is you have to aim for a higher MICAT score. With 85 in ZAT, I would say your aim in MICAT should be to go beyond 20, right? I can't say whether 15 will suffice or not. So I'll say beyond 20 if you are aiming and you're getting that score, that should put you in a fighting position. 93 percentile in CAT, what score to get in MICAT? Just for reference, again, Sri Likhita Madineni, as I said, right? So 93 in CAT is good. Aim for at least a 15, right? But if you can get more than 20, it will definitely help you. So obviously, the higher, the better. That all of us know. But don't aim for a bare minimum also. I mean, don't think of 15 just because I said 15. You walk in with that assumption that let me do 15. But if you aim, if you say okay, fine, let me aim for 20 or 25 or 30, then you keep fighting till you reach that number. Okay, so in fact, after taking the test, I wasn't even sure whether I'll get a 29. I thought I'll be somewhere around 25ish uh, because there were a couple of half chances that I had taken. But it's okay. I mean, whatever you get, as long as the combination is working out fine, you will get shortlisted. 16.5 in MICAT 1, disqualified in psychometric test. Any tips and prep strategy? I've taken IMS marks, but psychometric test is not evaluated. Okay, so see, because psychometric, first of all, different tests have different mechanism. We don't do that here because there is no way to, again, I don't know how MICAT does it and why they do it, but a psychometric test should not have qualified, disqualified as an outcome. It should just give you that, okay, these are the areas that you need to improve on, correct? Unfortunately, that's the format of the test, so there's nothing that we can do about it. I would say you practice a lot of online psychometric tests that are freely available. As I said, learning style, MBTI, there are a lot of other tests that are available. You can just take some of them. SHL website has some very good psychometric tests. So you can try out these things and see if it helps you. What's the ideal score in MICAT? 75 percentile in ZAT. Is it even possible to get a call at this percentile? Okay, 75 percentile in ZAT, Rajeshwari, it's on the lower side. You will need exceptionally high score on MICAT to qualify. And when I say exceptionally high score, I would put it at somewhere around 25 plus, right? So, and even with that, I don't know whether you will get a call or not with 75 on ZAT. Because we have generally seen that 80 plus in some or the other exam with a reasonably good MICAT has worked for people. But on the lower side of 80, you will need very, very high MICAT score. So if you can get that, nothing like it. 21 in MICAT 1, ZAT percentile 33. Are there any chances to get a call? I applied for MICAT 2. Unlikely. If you ask me with ZAT 33, unlikely in my view. But since you have applied for MICAT 2, I hope you do very well on that. Approximately how many students take MICAT and how many get a shortlist? They have not released that number. We don't have any information on that. I didn't get good percentile in ZAT, around 65-70. MICAT 1 got 9.5. Disha, I hope you're taking MICAT 2 because you will need that. So the scores are slightly on the lower side here. Vrinda, I have 16.25 in MICAT 1, 92 in CAT ZAT. Can I get a call? Already filled MICAT 2. So that's a good strategy, Vrinda. You have a decent score in CAT and MICAT 1. Good that you're taking MICAT 2. All the best to you. Priyanshi, 89, ZAT 67. How much should I aim for in MICAT 2? With CAT 89, I think 15 plus, but aim for 20 plus. 15 plus might get you a call, but 20 plus should get you a call in my view. MICAT 125, CAT 83, any chances? Arpit, MICAT 125 is very good, by the way. Congratulations on that. I think you have a shot, but I hope you're taking MICAT 2 as well to better your performance. Okay, Disha, see MICAT 2, if you can get a high score, right, and again aim for something like a 25 maybe. If you can get a 20 plus or 25, somewhere in that range, I think you have a fighting shot. See, I will never recommend somebody to not take a test because you don't know how exactly things will work out. So I'm not going to give you an advice that don't go for the test. I'll rather say go for the test and see what happens. Okay? Because see, you never know. It's just your day, everything falls in place. I think for me, divergent convergent thinking on that day, everything fell in place. Whatever I attempted, I got, I think, almost everything right. My quant is weak and it's taking up too much time, only bringing me 1 or 2 marks in the test. Can I choose to not attempt quants as a section, attempt all other sections? Panchika, I think they need positive score in each of the areas. So you'll at least need a couple of questions. So maybe you can do 1 or 2 quant questions correct, and then you can focus on the other areas. That should be fine. GK sectional 0.75, would that be a problem? I'm not too sure about this. Because in some of the some students have in the past mentioned that MICAT needs positive score in each of the subsections, though they have never confirmed it. So if you reach out to MICA, they will not confirm on this. Students keep saying that you need a positive score. We don't have any official communication on this. 0.75 is still positive, but we don't know whether that is enough for them. ZAT 83, do I have a chance? How much should I target? 20ish roughly in that range, 20 plus or minus 1 or 2, I would say. Sakshi 88 in CAT, ZAT 93, what should be the score in MICAT? ZAT 93 is good, so I would say 15 plus in MICAT should be the bare minimum aim. Higher the better, so 20 plus. If we get any topic we don't know in descriptive test, they ask for arguments on the topic, what to do? You come up with whatever you can, right? So the question here was hierarchy. So think of how hierarchy builds structure and how it helps people. So if you have structure, then people know who to report to, and there's no miscommunication because of that. There's enough clarity, etc. So that works. But if you have a lot of hierarchical and rigid structure, people may not be very open in communication and things like that. So that's the disadvantage. So come up with anything that you can on the spot, right? There will be a lot of topics that we don't know, we haven't read enough. That's how it is, right? That is what they're testing. Okay, one last thing, because a lot of you are asking how much should I aim for, some generic advice on what to aim for. If you are, let's say, a 95 plus in any of the tests, a CAT or a ZAT, I think you can survive with something like a 10 to 15, between 10 to 15 kind of a score on MICAT. You may survive, I'm not saying guaranteed you will, but you may. If you are between 90 to 95 percentile on CAT or ZAT, you should be aiming for 15 plus, 15 to 20, that would be the range. If you are less than 90, between say 83, 84 to 90, you should be aiming for slightly more than 20. And if you are less than 83, your aim has to be more than 25 on the MICAT. Okay, so that is typically how we have seen people getting calls, though it's not a standard written rule that is how it will work. It's just an indication, so please keep it that way. Okay. All right. In worst case, if we write only story in descriptive test, would that be a problem? Yeah, I mean, of course it will be a problem, right? Because you are leaving a lot of things on the table, right? You're not answering the rest of it. So if you don't answer the questions, it's going to be a problem, correct? So please write whatever you can, fill it. I think I'm pretty sure that all of us are used to writing long answers when we were in school. So that you just have to ensure that you're able to fill whatever area that has been given to you. Okay. All right. I think we have discussed most of the things. So I hope this interaction has helped you. The questions are also started to get repetitive now. That will I get a call? Will I not get a call? I'm not here to make any sort of predictions, but I'm just here to give you a perspective that these are the numbers that you should be looking at. Aim for more than that, for sure. Do the best that you can. I wish you all the best. I hope you will be able to do well on the test. Just two last things from my side. One is have a look at the MICAT 1 analysis that we had done, because it covered everything extensively, so you know exactly what happened during the test. It will help you to make your strategy better. And second thing is take the mock test so that you get used to attempting 150 questions of psychometric test and the 4 questions of descriptive writing, which is 25 minutes of writing. If you do that, I'm sure you will be able to handle the aptitude part, because that is something that anyway you've taken CAT ZAT, so you are in a position to handle the apti part of it. But the challenge is the part A and B, which is psychometric and creative writing. Okay, so that's about it. I would end the session here. Wish all of you all the best. Thanks for joining, and I hope this short interaction has helped all of you. Bye, take care.